Tomorrow, I will break her heart. She doesn't know it yet, how could she? Tonight, she's smiling, holding my hand like nothing is wrong. But I know. I've known for a while. And when the sun rises, I'll have to look into her eyes and say the words that will shatter everything we built. I'm a 31-year-old man, and I've known my girlfriend, who's 29, since we were teenagers. We've been together for a decade and living together for over 7 years. Our relationship has been incredible in every way. We support each other, have fun, and are each other's best friends. Our love remains as strong as ever. Over the years, we've talked about marriage multiple times. Initially, neither of us was particularly interested, but more recently, she has expressed a desire to get married. While I don't personally see the appeal of marriage as a concept, I've always been committed to spending my life with her, so if having a ring and a wedding mattered to her, I was happy to make it happen. About 6 months ago, I even started planning a proposal and looking for a ring. Although I kept it a surprise, based on our conversations, she likely expected it to happen soon and might have even wondered what was taking me so long. But there's another issue, one that I can't just compromise on. She wants to be a mother, and I don't want to be a father. Like with marriage, this wasn't always a desire of hers, but now it is. Unlike marriage, though, having a child isn't something I can simply go along with to make her happy. She hasn't pressured me to change my mind, but she has tried to see if there was any possibility of me reconsidering. The truth is, I can't. She has accepted this reality, at least outwardly. If I proposed tomorrow, she would say yes, and we'd continue our life together, knowing children weren't in our future. Maybe she still holds out hope that I'll change my mind, but I can't say for sure. What I do know is that I would get to keep the person I love forever. But, she wants to be a mother. It's clear in the way she interacts with babies and children, in the way she awkwardly brushes off her mother's comments about grandchildren. It's painfully obvious. I tried to ignore it for a while, but I can't anymore. So, I have to let her go. Or, more accurately, I have to push her away because she hasn't tried to leave me. I've considered my options. I could take the selfish route, stay with her and never have kids. I wouldn't have to manipulate or deceive her, just continue as we are. But every parent I've spoken to describes having children as the most fulfilling experience of their lives. And I've seen the same longing in them that I now see in her. I can't be the one to take that away from her. I also fear that, eventually, she would resent me and leave anyway. I could also decide to have a child for her sake. Maybe I'd even come to appreciate it one day, as some parents have told me they had doubts at first but ultimately found parenthood rewarding. But no matter how much I try to convince myself, I just don't believe that would happen for me. And while I've spoken to happy parents, I also know that not everyone ends up fulfilled in that role. A child deserves to be wanted by both parents, and I can't guarantee that I'd meet that basic requirement. In fact, I'm fairly certain I wouldn't. I've considered waiting to see if she changes her mind, hoping that being an aunt or a godmother in the near future might be enough for her. But that feels like a gamble, and the outcome wouldn't be clear for years. She envisions starting a family within the next few years, and if that's going to happen without me, I need to make the difficult choice now. I've already put this off long enough, pausing my plans for a proposal when I first realized just how much she wanted this, hoping that somehow, a better solution would reveal itself. But I can't keep delaying the inevitable forever. I've set the date tomorrow. I will tell her that we need to separate and explain my reasons, just as I have here. I've prepared myself for the possibility that she'll push back, insist she doesn't want this, question my honesty, or beg me to reconsider. No matter how difficult it gets, I believe I have the strength to hold my ground. I know this will come as a shock. She's probably expecting a proposal, not a breakup. I hate that I'm about to break her heart. And mine, too. But that's on me. I've already made plans for what comes after. I know where I'll be staying for the short term, and I've considered my options for a more permanent living arrangement. I also know that people around us, including my own family, will probably think I'm either heartless or an idiot. I doubt I'll get much understanding, but I'm not looking for sympathy. I can't prepare for everything, though. Learning how to live without her is going to be brutal. To be completely honest, I started writing this hoping I'd talk myself out of it, that seeing it all laid out would somehow lead me to the answer I've been desperately searching for. But it hasn't. If anything, it has only reinforced what I already knew. Some have pointed out that I'm making this decision for her when it should be something we decide together. And I agree. But for months now, I haven't been able to shake the feeling that leaving this choice up to her would, in some ways, be even crueler. Imagine having to walk away from the person you love, breaking their heart, just so you can find something they could never give you. The only reason I can bring myself to make this decision is because, as much as it will hurt her, I hope it will ultimately allow her to have the life she wants, one that I can't give her. If the roles were reversed, I know I could never leave her for my own sake. I know it's unfair to take this choice away from her. I feel awful about it. I feel awful about everything right now. And tomorrow, I'll feel even worse. But I don't know how else to do this without forcing her into an impossible situation. This has sparked a wide range of responses. Some of you agree with me, while others think I should handle this with more nuance. Then there are some really bizarre takes, people trying to inject sexism into the conversation or spinning wild narratives about me just looking for an excuse to break up. A few have even suggested I should force myself to have kids, which, honestly, feels like the most ridiculous take. Many of you have also brought up getting a vasectomy, and yes, that is already part of my plan. Among the criticisms, a common point is that I shouldn't be making this decision alone and that I need to make it absolutely clear to her how certain I am about not wanting children. I did. Maybe I didn't emphasize it enough here, but we've already had that conversation. She asked me directly if there was any chance I'd change my mind, and I was as clear as possible I won't. She accepted that answer and chose to stay with me despite it. But even with that choice, it's painfully obvious that she still wants children. And that's exactly why I'm making this decision for both of us. Maybe I am as selfish or foolish as some of you are saying. Maybe I'm about to ruin both our lives for no good reason. But at this point, there's no use in repeating my stance and handing the decision back to her again. I truly believe the choice she made will leave her unhappy in the long run, and I have to follow through with what I've decided. That's all there is to it. Update. In my second and final edit to the original post, I said not to expect an update. Honestly, I didn't think I'd want to write one, nor did I think I'd have much to say. But things didn't go exactly as I expected, so here I am. I approached her last Saturday. I told her what had been weighing on me and explained why I thought we should separate. As I expected, it caught her off guard. She told me that while she had wanted to start a family with me, she believed she had made it clear that she had chosen me over that possibility, fully aware it wouldn't happen. She stressed that the with me part was what truly mattered, that she couldn't picture it any other way. I told her I understood the choice she had made, but I didn't want to be the reason she missed out on being a parent. That even though I knew she had made that decision seriously, I could still see that desire for children in her. I told her that as long as that remained true, I could only see her choice leading to regret and resentment. She admitted that the desire hadn't disappeared, it was still there. I won't go through every detail of our conversation, but it lasted for hours. There were a lot of emotions, tears from both of us, anger, doubts, and accusations from her that I wasn't being honest about my reasons. I had thought I was resolute enough to end things no matter what. But as it turned out, maybe it wasn't about lacking resolve, maybe she just got through to me, and refusing to listen would have been pure stubbornness. In the end, we agreed to take time apart for the foreseeable future. She promised she would truly use this time to think everything through and reassess her feelings, and I committed to accepting whatever decision she reaches. What convinced me was her argument that this would be the first time in over a decade since we became adults that we wouldn't be in each other's lives. And if stepping away didn't change her perspective, that had to mean something. Logically, I think this makes sense. Emotionally, I can't say for sure that I'm not just convincing myself of that. But I do believe it's the best path forward. What scares me is that, at this point, I genuinely don't know what she will decide. And that terrifies me because one of those possibilities means losing her. It might sound ridiculous since I was prepared to end things, but actually facing that reality, losing her, still wrecks me. Based on the responses I got last time, I'd wager many of you will think I was wrong to agree to this. Others advised exactly this, so maybe they'll be happy. Others, I'm sure, will still think I'm an asshole. Hopefully, this will turn out to be the right choice, whatever her decision ends up being. We have not set an exact time frame. I've asked that she take at least a few months, as that sounds like a good minimum, and more importantly that she takes as long as she needs. We, obviously, won't be living together anymore. I'm currently staying at a hotel, but, her decision, she will soon, matter of days, move out of our apartment, at which point I'll move back in. From that point on, we will have no contact with one another at all, except for very strict exceptions which will hopefully not arise, emergencies, personal tragedies. And that's pretty much it. I miss her already. The next while is gonna suck. The aftermath may also suck. But then again, this doesn't suck any worse than I was expecting the aftermath of the definitive breakup I thought would happen would suck. I don't want to promise an update that will tell you how it all ends. That is months away, and I don't know that I'll be in a sharing mood. And that's even if this ends with good news. Sorry for that. Hopefully I will, though. Update. I'm not sure how many people remember or care about my original posts. They're still on my profile if you need a refresher, but either way, here's an update. First off, I did break our no contact rule once. A couple of weeks in, I reached out to let her know I was planning to get a vasectomy, which I ended up having a few weeks later. It was a brief conversation. She told me she had expected I might go through with it, We both admitted that we missed each other, and that was about it. I hadn't mentioned it before our break because I was still researching the procedure and trying to work up the courage. But I also didn't want to wait until after because I felt it was something she should know while she was reflecting on our situation. Plus, I didn't like the idea of either delaying it indefinitely or going through with it behind her back, if that makes sense. Now, on to the conclusion of all this. I won't keep you in suspense. We're back together and have been for a few weeks now. Aside from that one slip, we had no contact throughout our break. Then one day, she reached out to tell me she had made her decision and asked if we could meet later that day at our place, technically just mine at that point, but you get it. When she arrived, she walked me through everything she had been doing during our time apart. She explained that, at first, she had to adjust to life without me, not just in terms of missing me as a person but also as a partner. It was the first time in a decade that she wasn't in a relationship, and in a way, we had both become somewhat codependent. Once she got past that, she started exploring her feelings on parenthood. She spent time talking to friends and relatives, some who were parents, some who were planning to be, and some who had chosen to remain child-free. She wanted to understand their experiences and how they arrived at their decisions. She also made an effort to spend time around children, babysitting for friends on a semi-regular basis. Beyond that, there was a lot of deep introspection, thinking about her feelings and our relationship as a whole. She told me that while she truly enjoys being around children, she now feels confident that she doesn't need to have her own. More than anything, she values being with the right person, and luckily for me, she still believes that person is me. While we both had to work on our codependency, our love and longing for each other never faded. As for her thoughts on children, she reassured me that she would still have them in her life. Her brother and his wife are planning to start a family soon, and my sister, who gets along well with her, already has a child. That, she said, would be enough to fulfill that part of her. She told me she was sure of her decision and then asked if I could fully accept it. I said yes and thanked her for respecting my own decision not to have kids while still choosing to be with me. We also reflected on how valuable our time apart had been. Although it didn't change her mind, it reinforced her feelings, and she understood why I needed that extra certainty. However, she admitted that she wished I had been more open with her before convincing myself that breaking up was the only option. She said communication had always been one of our strengths, so feeling blindsided by my decision had hurt. I acknowledged that and promised to be better in the future if we ever face something like this again. And that's pretty much where things stand. We've settled back into our relationship effortlessly, and she's moved back into our apartment. We've been making up for lost time, catching up on everything we missed in each other's lives, and intentionally planning more romantic evenings than usual since reuniting. While those moments are wonderful, honestly, just being with her again feels like pure happiness. Her 30th birthday is coming up this summer, and we've planned a 2-week getaway somewhere sunny to celebrate just the two of us. We'll also have a gathering with friends and family once we're back, but we'll be away on her actual birthday. It's not our first vacation together, but we're going all out for this one. I'm also considering proposing during the trip, though I want to make sure it's still what she wants before making any concrete plans. Hopefully, I can figure that out without completely spoiling the surprise. I also want to thank everyone who commented or reached out, whether with support, advice, or even criticism. When I first posted, I wasn't in the best mindset to take feedback, but looking back, I see the value in a lot of what I initially dismissed. Over the past few months, I've revisited those discussions both on my original posts and where they were shared elsewhere, and I've learned from them. This will hopefully be my last update.